Hello and welcome to this video on how to set up a new safe instance for VersionOne CollabNet. And this video here is a part of a multi-part series about configuring a specific safe instance, and we're going to walk through some of the details here today. So I have an instance already configured. This should match with the instance that you have either gotten or will be getting soon. And I'm going to walk through some of the initial configurations and how you can do any additional administration that you need to do. But really, most of this admin is already going to be done for you. This is just a good overview of what we've done so far to set up this instance, and then hopefully give you all the tools that you need to get moving forward with your safe VersionOne trial. So first off, I'm in the admin planning section here. So if you go under admin, these are all of the different menus that you can use if you have the admin account. And right now I'm looking at the overview section here, which is the bottom menu option here. This is going to show me, again, some quick videos. So if you want to go through some additional videos, this is a video of that. There's also a quick system setup. So this is what we'll be walking through here today. And then finally, there's some additional administration links, which we'll go through some of the ones that we used here as well. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, looking at some of the things that we've set up for this specific instance from an admin perspective. So I'm going to start by first going into list types, and this is a configuration setting that you can do off of configuration, and then go to list types. So first, we're going to look at our global list types that we've set up. So if you go to global list types and you scroll down, there's this section called levels. And in levels, this is where you can set up the different safe levels that you're going to use. So in this case, I've got enterprise, portfolio, release, train, and program increment. This is really the levels that we'll be using for our safe instance. I've also put some levels in here. So if I wanted to put a solution intent in here, I could also track solution intent in a separate level here. I also have another level where if I'm putting just product-specific things, I can use these product levels as well. So these aren't necessarily hierarchical, but they do allow you to say when I create a child under enterprise, it's automatically going to try to create a child called a portfolio. You can break those rules if you want to, but this is just a level that we've set up under the list types, and we're going to go ahead and use these here as we set that up. Okay, so that's one of the main configurations that I like to do, and this will match with how you're doing your various different safe levels, depending upon which level and types of levels that you're going to use. Another list type that we're going to look at is our portfolio items, and this is where we're going to be able to set the various different statuses that we want to use. So here I put in all of the statuses that you've seen probably on the SAFE website, and this just allows me to set the different planning levels that I want to use. And we'll use those similar levels if you want to set the backlog items for your user stories and or for your defects. So you can set statuses in a similar way by doing the list types for those planning levels as well. One important thing to note here is the roll-up category. So the roll-up category is going to be used to say when a specific status isn't completed, and that will allow us to track and manage work that's done, or in this case, features that are going to be done as we align these different statuses to the features on our Kanban board. Okay, so those are a couple of the list types and the statuses that we went ahead and updated. If you want to update any of the other ones, you can certainly come in here and add new ones as you need to. You can also change any of the list types that may be out there that you want to change. The other thing that we do when we set this up for SAFE is look at our configuration and go into our terminology section. So I'll quickly walk through what we've done in terminology. We changed the word goal into objective and objective, so that's one. I also like to change the project, which is the scope value there, from project and projects to planning levels. Okay, we're using the word sprints. If you use the word iterations for your time boxes, you can put that in there. And then I also changed just the word release to be PI/release. So this allows me to just show that when we go to the release planning, that we're going to do that PI release planning section there. So those are some of the key terminology things that we've changed. I also added an override in here for the none value to make it be unassigned. So if you have a none status on a sprint board, it'll say unassigned. On any of these pages or on any of the other details, if you go to the help section here, this will take you back into the community help, and that will allow you to see exactly what we're doing here in terms of the setups. All right, so the first thing that we need to do when we start setting this up is go to our planning levels. So I'm going to go under configuration and look at my planning levels, and we'll show you what we've set up here. So I've got system all, which is the root. So we recommend that you don't change that at all. When I expand on that, I've got my company or my enterprise level, which is called easy support. Under there, I've got multiple different portfolios. One of them is my safe portfolio, which I'm calling retail products. And then I've got a supporting groups portfolio here as well. When I expand on portfolio groups, that shows me my release trains, and under my release trains, I'll have my program increments. If I'm going to do maybe mid-program increment releases, I'll put a sub-program increment under there. You can rename that if you want to name it something else, but that's basically saying that in the middle of PI1, we're going to have a release, and that'll be on a certain date. Okay. For my supporting groups, again, under the supporting groups portfolio, I've got a similar setup here where I've got my portfolio, I've got my products and my releases. So we'll go into a little bit more of this when we talk about our portfolios and how we set that up. But essentially, we use that level that we set, and we made sure that all of our work is aligned to a specific sprint schedule. And that's really setting up the planning levels and making sure that we have that set. The next thing that we might want to do is go into the team so we can set up our team. So under the team admin menu here, here's where you can go and you can put your various different teams in there. So I just added specific teams. And inside of a team, if you want to, you can put your target estimates and your target swag, how many per week or whatever time frame you want to use. That will help you then when you're doing capacity planning for the team level. Okay, so we've got our planning levels and our team set. The last thing we want to do is create our members. So I'm going to go under the member planning next. So I'm going to go under configuration members. Under configuration members, here's the members that we currently have set. So I've got a system admin, I've got a team member, a scrum master, and a product owner. You can use these simply by using the usernames here that we have set for those, or we'll add a new one. So I'm going to add a new member. In this case, I'll just add them directly. So in here, there's any of the columns here that have an asterisk, any of the fields that have an asterisk are required. So we need to put the name in there. So we're going to call this one Mike. M-I-K-E is a name. Short name, we'll also leave that as Mike for now. Username will be Mike. Password Mike. Password Mike to confirm that. Okay. Now the admin privileges, this is where you need to decide what type of user that's going to be. We have 12 different privileges. There's 3 different admin ones. Most team members will be set up as a team member. So we'll make Mike a team member. We can put in his address, mike@company.com. And then we'll also check the notifications by email. And that's all we really need to put in there right now. We've set the initial admin privilege, which means he can't go higher than a team member privilege, even if I gave him a specific project privilege above that. So we want to make sure that that gets set. If you want him to be system admin, then this would have to be system admin privilege as well. So when I save that, that goes ahead and saves Mike's record. So I see Mike in here as a team member. Now the next thing we need to do to set up that member is give him project role level access. So in this case, we'll go to the planning level roles. And under planning level roles, I'll go over here and manage Mike. So I have the manage option, the manage button over here on the right-hand side. When I go to manage Mike, this shows me all the different planning levels. And I can say where I want Mike to be able to be a team member. So I can give him team member access here at the top at the easy support level, or maybe I'll just give him observer rights at the top, and then I'll give him only team member down here at the call center, which is my Agile release train level. Okay, so we're going to make him an observer of everything, but so he'll be able to see all the other work, but we only want him to be a team member down here at this level and below. And I'm also going to check this box here, which means he's going to show up when we do the default owner list, and you pull up the owner list for call center and below as well. So that's how we're going to go ahead and set him up. So when I save that, those privileges will then cascade down, and you can see he's got observer for everything, but only team member and on the admin list here for that specific role. And that's essentially how you can set up a new member, basically create their admin account or their member account, and then assign the project roles. Another easier way to do this, if you want to use the invite, there's an invite option here under the members setup as well. So if I go to members, instead of adding them, you can invite them. So you can invite them by email address. So in this case, I can say this is Mike@company.com. And if I want to do assign a planning level, I could select that planning level here. So let's say call center, and I could create a team member here. And if I submitted this now, that would do both of those things. It would send him an email and say, set up your account, and would also grant him this specific planning level access as a team member. Okay, so we're not going to do that. You can also do multiple people in here at once if you're going to go ahead and invite them that way. And that also allows them to set their own password and get in there and set up. All right, so that's the member admin. So we've gone through the planning levels, set up the members and the teams. Now it's really our time for us to go in and start to track that work, and we're going to do that by adding specific work into the solution. So if we were going to go back into the main area here, we can start with under the portfolio tree and start to add work here. What I want to do first is I want to go up to the top level. So we want to go back to easy support. So if I go back to my top level, we'll go to easy support. And in here, I can start to then put in my portfolio items at this top level. So this is where I can go in and add portfolio items. But we're not going to show that here. We'll show that in some of the other videos that we're going to do. But I do want to talk a little bit about my views. So in here, you can see I've got a specific portfolio level and specific filters set here. If I wanted to filter, say, just for a type of a feature on here. So I'll set my feature filter, and maybe I want to filter for one more thing here. Let's go with just the tag. Let's go with type. No, we did that one already. Let's go status implementing. So these are just features that we're currently implementing. It just shows us those features. If I wanted to save this view, we have this My View section over here. Under My Views, I can save this as the easy support, call it features in progress WIP features. And I'm going to check this little box here, and that allows me to basically, when I save this by clicking on the add or update, that allows me to then go to my views and see that I've got WIP features in there. So when I select this now, this is going to set these specific statuses. It'll also set the planning level and allow me to go in and see the details for that. So I can toggle between those two now by going to my views and then going back up into the other section there. So that's a handy way for you to set the views. You can also configure those columns down here by customizing the columns as well. One thing about the customizing columns, if you're a system admin, you can come in here and you can make this view the system defaults, which I would encourage you to do. When you set this as the system defaults, when someone resets to the default, they'll see that specific view of that, and they'll be able to go in and see the details there under system defaults. Okay. So essentially now this team is able to start to go in and put the details in there. We'll cover that in another demo, as I said earlier, another video, but I just wanted to go through the details of that. One more thing just on some of the configurations. So if I go under configurations now and you want to see what I have enabled under the system, you can see that I've got most of the items here checked. So if you're going to be doing member capacity, you've got that checked, and there's some other check marks here, as well as how we're tracking the specific information. So in this case, for to do and effort hours, do we want to track that at a task and test level only, or do you want to allow them to track at both the backlog item level and the task and test level? So these are just some of the defaults. You can go in and change any of these if you want to go ahead and change any of those configuration values as well. The last thing is if you want to go in and add custom fields and custom list types, you can go ahead and add new custom fields in here as well. We won't walk through that today, but if you want more details on that and how to add custom fields, if you just go to the custom fields tab, go over here on the right and go to the help, that's going to bring you into how do we add custom fields and gives you all of the details on that. So it walks you through all of the details there and what you need to set up to go ahead and add specific custom fields and then see them on the drop downs for Project Workspace. So. All right, so that's just the highlights of what you can do inside of Lifecycle for this safe instance. Hopefully that gives you enough to get you started on what we need to do. Again, if you have any questions specific to that, please let us know, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. Take care.